The village is hungry. The warning was scratched into the wood so deeply that whoever carved it must have bled. The village is hungry. I found it nailed to a dead tree at the edge of the forest, half hidden by moss and rot. The road behind me was gone, not turned away gone, as if the forest had swallowed it the moment I stepped inside. I stood there longer than I should have, staring at those words while the fog crept around my boots like something alive. Hungry villages don't exist. Hungry things do. I turned back anyway. There was nothing behind me but trees. I had come looking for my brother. Ethan had gone missing 3 weeks earlier while working on a documentary about abandoned settlements. He left behind a single voice message, recorded at night, his voice shaking in a way I'd never heard before. "It's not abandoned. They're watching me. If you hear this, don't trust the roads after sunset. The village, it's hungry." Then the recording ended. No coordinates, no explanation, just fear. Every lead pointed me here, to a nameless stretch of forest where GPS failed and compasses spun like they were laughing. Now the forest was quiet. Too quiet. No insects, no birds, just the sound of my own breathing and the soft crunch of leaves under my feet as I followed a path that hadn't existed a moment ago. That's when I smelled smoke. The village appeared the way nightmares do, suddenly and without logic. Wooden houses leaned inward as if whispering to each other. Windows glowed faint yellow, though no firelight flickered inside. A bell tower stood crooked in the center, its rope swaying though there was no wind. A sign creaked beside the road. "Welcome." The rest of it had been scratched out. As I stepped closer, the fog thinned, and I saw them. The villagers. They stood motionless along the street, men, women, children, faces pale, eyes dark and unblinking. Their expressions weren't hostile. They were expectant, like diners waiting for food. My stomach tightened. A woman stepped forward. Her dress was old-fashioned, her hair braided too tightly against her skull. "You're late," she said. "I'm looking for someone," I replied. "My brother." Her smile widened just a little too far. "Yes," she said, "we know." They led me to an inn that smelled of damp wood and old iron. The innkeeper was tall and thin, his hands trembling slightly as he poured me water. He didn't drink any himself. "You should eat," he said. "What happens if I don't?" His eyes flicked to the door. The village eats regardless. That was the first time I noticed the silence inside the building. No footsteps, no voices, no fire crackling. The hearth glowed that there were no flames. I asked again about my brother. The innkeeper swallowed. "He arrived hungry," he said. "That's how it begins." That night I heard chewing. It came from the walls, slow, wet, rhythmic. I opened my door and found the hallway stretched longer than it should have been, doors multiplying into darkness. At the far end stood a child with his back to me. "Hey," I whispered. "Are you okay?" He turned. His mouth was too wide. His teeth were wrong. "You brought food," he said happily. Every door slammed shut at once. I ran. The forest beyond the village shifted as I moved, paths folding in on themselves, shadows stretched, grabbed, pulled. I fell into a clearing. In the center stood a stone well, its rim worn smooth by hands, thousands of hands. Symbols crawled across its surface like living things. The smell was overwhelming. Rot, iron, hunger. A voice rose from below, not loud, patient. "Another one returns." I staggered back as the ground trembled. Faces surfaced in the stone, screaming, chewing, crying, all layered together. Among them, I saw Ethan. He wasn't screaming. He was smiling. "Don't fight it," he said calmly. "It hurts less when you stop being yourself." I screamed his name. The well pulsed. "You fed us once," the voice said. "Now you will feed us again." Memories flashed through my mind, visions that weren't mine. A famine centuries ago. Villagers starving. A bargain made with something beneath the earth. Feed us, and you will survive. They fed it travelers, children. Each generation taught the next the rules. Never let the village starve. I woke in the inn. Morning light streamed through the window, cheerful and false. The villagers moved about normally now, laughing, carrying baskets, pretending at life. My hands were shaking. On my palm was a symbol, fresh, red, and pulsing. The innkeeper stared at it and looked away. "You've been marked," he said. "You can't leave anymore." "Where is my brother?" He hesitated. "Everywhere," he whispered. I tried to escape at noon. The road appeared this time, straight and inviting. I ran, lungs burning, heart racing, and stepped straight back into the village square. The bell rang. The villagers stopped moving. They turned toward me. They smiled. That night they brought me food. Meat. Still warm. I refused. The hunger came anyway, not in my stomach, but in my bones, in my thoughts, in my memories. I began to crave the well, crave the voices, crave the chewing. That's when I realized the truth. The village wasn't hungry for flesh. It was hungry for identity, for stories, for selves. I found Ethan again at the well, or what was left of him. He was part of the stone now, his face stretched across the rim like clay. "I tried to leave," he said softly. "It took pieces of me each time." I grabbed his hand. It crumbled. "You have to burn it," he whispered. "Starve the village." "How?" He smiled sadly. "By feeding it yourself." At dawn, I walked into the well. The villagers screamed. The ground split. The thing beneath rose, vast, ancient, endless, mouths layered within mouths. I offered it everything, my name, my memories, my fear, my hunger. The village shook as the well collapsed inward, devouring itself. Silence fell. I woke on the forest road. The village was gone. The trees were still. My phone buzzed. A new message. From Ethan. "If you're reading this, it worked. Don't look back. And whatever you do, don't let yourself get hungry." I started walking. Behind me, far away, something growled. Weeks later, I noticed something strange. I didn't feel hunger anymore. Not for food, not for sleep. But when I pass crowded places, I feel it. A pull, a whisper. And sometimes when I look at people too long, I imagine how quiet they'd be if they stopped being themselves. I found scratches on my door last night. 4 words carved deep. The village is hungry, and I am afraid. It followed me home.